Just talk about yesterday, waiting to find out if you guys are going to nationals, and you find out you are. What was that reaction like?
A lot of excitement just to finally see it on TV and to hear it announced officially. We've had the luxury of the last couple of weeks sitting in the #1 spot in the West region, and there was, I think, no doubt in our mind that we would be the team representing the West region, but to actually see it makes it real, and I think there was a lot of excitement in the room.
And how about for some of the seniors? Their careers were on the line. They know they get to row another race.
I think you can never undervalue the opportunity to go to the national championships, and some of these young ladies have been on the team for 4 years, and really this is their first opportunity. And when they came in this fall, what we saw was just a willingness to set the bar higher and to step up. And so I think that our getting the bid to go to the national championships really is owed to the type of dedication that was needed to get us into that #1 position in the West.
And talk about some of the other teams that will be there. Obviously, a familiar opponent.
Yeah, Western Washington got the at-large team berth, and I don't think any of us were surprised. They're a fast team within their own right. We just recently went to the Dad Bale Regattas in Philadelphia and had the opportunity to race against defending national champions Nova Southeastern, and we were victorious in the 4 and just off the mark by about 0.6 seconds in the 8. And I think for us it was a valuable experience to be able to go and to race against teams of that caliber and to be able to hang with them. So I think there's a lot of excitement building into being on the starting line on Friday of nationals, just waiting to come down that course.
And so I'm sure you guys celebrated yesterday, but talk about the preparation. After last night, now you have a couple days to get ready for this.
I think the celebration was short-lived because we went back out and practiced yesterday afternoon, and that's what we're really trying to do. So we took a week off of rowing during the final exam period, though they were doing some training on their own. Now it's just to try to get them back into the groove. And what's interesting about practicing when they're not in school is that they've actually lost pretty good rhythm. Their life is very regimented. They go to bed at a certain time. They get up very early. They go to practice. Their day is really scripted from start to finish. And now there's so much free time that I just get the sense that maybe they're a little bit lost. And so what we're trying to do is just refocus them and then, get some really good strokes in on the water, just get that rhythm back.
And last, what needs to happen this weekend for you guys to get another national championship?
Well, what's interesting about the nationals is that, when you get to this level, you're going to have 4 boats across that are going to be within inches of each other. And so some of the things that we've been really just trying to focus on more is the psychological aspect of how to prepare yourself for when you get into the national championships, and to have just the right amount of energy so that you're not overly stressed or too chillaxed. But it's going to be really just trying to prepare them for anything that might come, whether that's weather. They call it windy Indy, and if we look at last year, there were boats on the course that actually sunk during races. And so we're just trying to prepare for any possible scenario that we may find ourselves in when we go to nationals.
And actually, in the last race, wasn't there a boat malfunction at the start of the race that you guys had to overcome?
We there were 2 things that happened in Philadelphia. In the 4, one of the young ladies caught a crab. And that means that your blade gets stuck in the water when everyone else's is out. And it literally took 2 people to get her blade back where it needed to be. And that was a really amazing race because it was a come-from-behind victory. And it happened literally in the last, seconds and strokes of the race. I mean, it was just so dramatic that if you watch the video of it, you see this whole pack of boats, and all of a sudden there's this bow that comes right in at the bottom of the screen, and that's Humboldt, and they cross over the finish line 0.2 seconds before anyone else. For the 8, not necessarily one of our greatest races. It was a weather delay, 3 hours. By the time we got to the start, we were late. They already had all of the boats on the starting platform. We came off the line not very composed, and while I think it was a great race for them, I don't think it was one of our best. So I think we're just trying to draw from all of the weaknesses that were, how do you get faster? Well, let's train our weaknesses, whether they're technical or physical or psychological. That's what we're going to be focusing on in the next 9 days of practice before we go to nationals.